Now I was now I was doing this video. It got into like 10 minutes. My fucking phone just started itself. Now, thing is, let me pose a little question here. Why is it that games nowadays never, like they barely ever they barely ever give you history or backstory to some of the places you'd see, and to some of the monsters or the characters. Um, I mean, I do give a history or backstory. It's always the fucking characters. Now, thing is, the one thing that got me questioning about this was the suffering, which you could somewhat hear from through the audio here. Now, thing is, it's this, where you'd see like games from back then giving like brief history about monsters and shit. Like, oh, this one monster is like for this particular game, it's like, oh, this monster represents decapitation. This monster represents all thing like, oh, this monster represents all things evil. Um like this monster is akin to that of a to the one that thing that lived in the that man who lived in the desert, only to die, who only to get his ass beaten by a guy in a green outfit. If you don't know that last one, fuck you. For those who don't know what the hell I was referring to, that was Ganon. I was referring to Ganondorf from Legend of Zelda. Like, oh, this monster is um like, oh, this entire thing's fucked up, and all these monsters are representations of the memories of this one person. Which, could have been a cool setup in the Evil Within, where you know, could have had a archive thing in the pause menu telling you like where a monster is, like, okay, um, where the main character or someone else witness these huge fucking monsters, and they have their own theory on how each monster could have been a representation of. Like, again, in the suffering, like, all these monsters could have been a thing, where all these monsters were coming about, and then it could have been like a doctor who at one point knew who knows of Ruvik and all the shit he had. It's like, for each monster you defeat, or at least the ones you get the fuck away from, you basically, it's like a huge, you unlock a thing for a huge little bio on them, like this gigantic, like for the box man or the keeper. Where it's like, oh, like I've been seeing this gigantic monster everywhere. Um, I've only, every time I see him, he's always doing something that's some contraptions. By looking at the safe on his head and the things he has on his belt, it's it is probably apparent that he's a representation of the secrets that Ruvik wants to keep hidden, or at least a representation of something Ruvik wants to do. Keeping everyone, keeping something safe, or keeping something secret, or hell, for if it was like for the clone Ruvik, where the dude's like, oh, from what I've seen of this weird, creepy Ruvik, like I've seen Ruvik And when he spotted, like I saw this Rufik, and when he saw me, he noticed these weird vibration, and everyone, and this Rufik turned started walking to me, and those hands that kept coming up from the ground. I, and in this case, I was lucky enough to run away. It occurred to me that after seeing this one man defeat Luvic, that this one was a clone. Um, and I theorize that this clone Luvic is a representation of Luvic wanting to get rid of anyone who he seems a threat, by having them fear, by not only having them fear him while he does his own thing, but it's also a representation of what he can do, of his want to track people down, of wanting to track people back to the start, or something. And that's what sucks about games nowadays. They barely give you like a brief history of some of the enemies you face. And the ones that do tell you are normally like comic book games or games meant for children or something. Let's see, what's another thing? Like when you go like in the surfing where you go to a new location, it tells like, oh, this one thing, like, oh, this thing is very like, oh, the cemetery was named after the executioner. I think his name was Horace. 2 seconds. Hermes. Like, oh, this entire, like, this one cemetery is named after Hermes T. Haight, who was an executioner at one time, who was obsessed over his entire work, killed himself in the gas chamber. And like everywhere you go, every location you find, every new location, it's like, they tell you a little history about it, making it feel like it was a legit place. Um, like for surfing, each location feels legit. And each one ties into each other and connect very greatly. Like the asylum being at one point a home, and it got turned into an asylum that was run by a guy named Dr. Killsbury, who known who from what some say may or may not have who existed at one point, but which story is like, depending on what stories you see, is either false or fiction. Like, for each story you see of Dr. Killjoy, it's hard to say which one's real and which one's fake. It's just a fabrication, and which one's true is, beyond anyone's guess. Um, and look at Resident Evil. At least the first few, where they had some history, where each location had some history. Like each game you see, there was like some history. But the one thing that they didn't do was at least give us some cool characters. For the most part, the only good characters is from at least the first 3 games are Claire, Jill, and Leon, and to a lesser extent some of the enemies. But the thing is, Resident Evil had these huge fucking monsters that you could only figure out through, you could only figure out what these monsters came from through documents and shit from in the Umbrella laboratories. Um, Hell, I think the liquor was actually a zombie at one point that mutated into whatever the fuck it is now. And in Dead Space, they basically told you, like, oh, at the end of the game, near the end, it's like these necromorphs came from the market, but no in the games that I've seen, they never explained where the most of the markers came from until that second one, where explained where the red markers came from, but not where the black ones came from. Like, oh, these red markers came from what man-made, but we don't know where the black one. But I never saw them explain where the black ones came from. And I'll leave you off with this. Why is it that games nowadays never never give you history on the places you go to, the places the places you go and the enemies and stuff? That's my question. I'll leave you to that. This is Ton King. Coming right back at ya.